All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Everything College Football Podcast. Today I'll be doing my preview and prediction for the Guaranteed Rate Bowl between Wisconsin and Oklahoma State. 3-point line in favor of the Badgers. 43 is the over-under. Tuesday, December 27th, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN from Chase Field in Phoenix. First meeting ever between these two schools. Looking at the Wisconsin offense, Graham Mertz, he's transferring. Chase Wolf's going to start 26.5 points per game. Mertz is headed to Kentucky. I believe that he just picked up Devin Leary today, so I'm not sure if that's going to stick or not. But he's no longer a Badger. 362 yards per game for this offense. One thing that kind of remains true, though, is that the running game, it's solid, 173 yards per contest, but, they're still a pretty one-dimensional unit. And now Mertz not being there, he's not really great anyways, but that experience is no longer under center. Braylon Allen, though, 1,126 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's great. He's staying put. Luke Fickell's going to come over, and he's going to have a great running back to work with. Ches Malusi as well. 40 touches the last two games, 396 yards on the score this year. Has been really beat up, but, he's been getting involved a good bit the last couple of weeks. So you're certainly going to have that 1-2 tandem, it appears, of Allen and Malusi. Jamari Dyke, 44 receptions, 653 yards, 6 touchdowns. Whoever gets the start for the Badgers are going to have a great little supporting cast here. Those three guys, the big three here for the Badgers, you could say. The offensive line, not as good in pass protection as on the ground. I do think the Badgers' offense, though, same as always, very one-dimensional. And now they're going to have probably a quarterback problem heading into this one. But we'll see what happens. Miles Burkett, I believe he's still there, so maybe he'll start. Not really sure what's going on with these two programs. What leads you to, it's a very quick breakdown. I think this Wisconsin offensive line, of course, they're terrific. And I definitely think they're going to lead the charge here in terms of physicality against an Oklahoma State team that's really beat up in terms of depth because of the transfer portal. They've certainly been getting rated a good bit. Looking at that Oklahoma State offense, a lot of guys gone. Rangel or Gunnar Gundy's here. They're going to start. Spencer Sanders, of course, he's in the portal. We'll see where he ends up. We also look at a guy in Dominic Richardson who's in the portal. Freshman Ollie Gordon, 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. Him and Jalen Nixon, 2 young guys. They're going to get the touches. 2 highly impressive talents. I think they're really going to shine in this game. But 2 freshman quarterbacks, Garrett Rangel, of course, and Gundy. These guys are going to be battling for the job. We'll see who gets it. I'm not really sure who will, at least for this game. Again, 2 freshmen at running back as well. Very inexperienced offense now, all of a sudden. None of the receivers, I don't believe. Braylon Presley, I believe he entered the portal. I think he's off to Tulsa, but everyone else stayed put. 3 receivers at 550-plus yards. That's certainly big for this offense with all the inexperience at some of these spots. Brandon Presley's staying put, 61 receptions, 739 yards. Bryson Green, 36 grabs. Brandon Johnson, 31 for him. John Paul Richardson, those are 4 guys that all have 480-plus yards receiving. So they're pretty deep at receiver. A lot of these guys, pretty highly, or mediumly touted guys out of high school that have really stepped up for this offense, been a good fit. I think they're really trying to get back to, the Mason Rudolph days where they were airing it out more. We'll see what happens long term. 32 points per game, 415 yards per contest. They do have 283 passing per game, so the receivers have certainly been productive. Sanders, again, of course, he is in the portal after a very up-and-down tenure in Oklahoma State. 57% completion rate on the year for him. It's even less than that for the other 2 quarterbacks. Rangel, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks, 3-to-4 ratio for Gundy. So whoever gets the start here, it's not going to be easy. First career start comes against a great Badger defense. Looking at the Wisconsin offense, this will be Jim Leonard's final game. It was originally thought he would stay put with Luke Fickell on the staff. But it turns out this will be his last one, so I certainly think he's going to be motivated to coach a great effort here in this one. Nick Herbig, he's a phenomenal player. He's one of the best in the conference this year. He's not going to be playing. Declared for the NFL draft. No shock there. Keanu Benton, 10 TFL, 4.5 sack. That's a great guy in the middle for them. This is a defense this year that certainly didn't play as great as you would think. I do know that Benton is also planning on going to the NFL draft, though, so that's 2 very productive guys in the front 7 that are not going to play. They had great years that lived up to expectations. The defense, I'd say they did, 20.5 points per game, though. That's pretty uncharacteristic. 305 yards per contest, pretty good mark. 103 rushing yards per game. That's very terrific. 2.9 yards per carry allowed for Wisconsin. That's, and they're also 14th in FBS and 10-plus yard runs allowed. So this is a team that really cracks down on the run. That's what Oklahoma State's going to want to do here. They do have 31 sacks as a team. Their top producers, though, of course, they're not going to be playing in this one. It's going to be a unit made up of some other guys you've not really heard of. But, linebacker Maima Najad-Meta, he's been great for them this year. Highly graded defender, 10.5 tackles for loss, 88 tackles. You believe he's going to be playing in this game. C.J. Gattez, Jordan Turner at linebacker. Those guys have been second and third on the team in tackles. Gattez, of course, 9 tackles for loss for him. This defense certainly has a lot of veterans still around. top 2 sack getters are gone. They make up for over half the team's sacks. Guys like Darrell Peterson, though, they're going to be asked to step up in this one. Rodaz Johnson, James Thompson, and the defensive line. This is a defense that, of course, is good. Year after year, that's the thing. I'm excited to see what happens with Luke Fickell now. John Torchino at safety. This is a guy with 52 tackles and 5 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. He's been great as a coverage defender, not just on the stat sheet, but all around. You can tell he's one of the best players on this football team. Top to bottom, again, a very good defense. They don't give up much. They're very disciplined. They're very sound against the run. Guys like Jay Shaw came over and made a big impact at corner. That's where Oklahoma State's going to look to test you, is these corners. They're in the secondary really as a whole. That's where they're going to look to make their money. Despite having 2 young quarterbacks, I think Wisconsin's really going to mix some things up. I think this is going to be a game where Gundy's going to have to outcoach this defense of Wisconsin, led by Jim Leonard, which is probably pretty unlikely. You look at the Oklahoma State defense, not any better really. 29 points per game. Not any better in terms of who's coming back really. Mason Cobby's off to USC. Trace Ford, Thomas Harper's also in the portal. Safety Jason Taylor's been great, 82 tackles for him. He might have even been in the portal himself. Jabbar Muhammad, I know he is as well. Trying to keep up with everyone on defense, especially transferring on this football team. It's been a really difficult task. This is a team that's certainly going to be watered down in terms of depth, though, and I think it's going to be tough to stop this running game, led by Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi, 71.3 yards per game allowed on the ground, almost 270 through the air. I don't think Wisconsin's going to test you too much through the air, but they do give up a lot of space. And this defensive line, though, is led by some stubs. Brock Martin, Colin Oliver, Tyler Lacey. These guys, I'm pretty sure they're all playing in this contest. 121st in scrimmage plays with 10-plus yards allowed, though. That's the biggest thing for this defense. Just a massive step-back year. They're, I think, the best defense in college football a year ago. Lost a lot of guys. Lost their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, and things really started to fall apart. They do have some pretty impactful players, though, like we've already mentioned. Some are in the portal. Some are still playing in this game. 24 sacks, though, for a team that led college football last year in sacks. That's certainly, despite getting better in terms of talent, certainly a disappointing year from their pass rush. I don't think they're going to be very effective in this one, though. Looking at the final thoughts and the prediction on this one, keys to the game. Get the ground game going, collapse the outside run, on defense for Wisconsin. I think Oklahoma State, young quarterback's going to have to get comfortable. And does the defense care to play in this game? I mean, again, not a lot of depth, a lot of guys transferring out. I think this is going to be a cakewalk for Wisconsin, 34-14. Jim Leonard's going to be motivated to go out with a win here, especially since he was not given the job here for the Badgers. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Luke Fickell long-term. I think Wisconsin, they have a great guy, A-plus hire there. In terms of this game, though, I don't think no one really cares about it. It's a pretty short preview here just because a lot of guys are transferring, a lot of moving parts. And I don't think Oklahoma State will care to be here one bit. So I think they're going to get blown out pretty handily by Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi. They're going to have a field day on the ground. That's going to be it for today's episode, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.